Hey everyone, and welcome to the NintendoFuse Podcast. This is episode 318, recorded on July 1st, 2025. And on this episode, we're talking all about Donkey Kong Bonanza that's coming out pretty soon. We're recapping the summer showcases that have happened all summer and some that have still yet to happen. And of course, talking about all the games we played and so much more. My name is Steve, and of course, I'm joined by Barry. Barry, how's it going?
Hey, Steve. It's going well.
Good, good. Also joined by Greg. Hey, Greg.
Everyone, great to be back.
And also joined by our special guest, original founder of the NintendoFuse Podcast, Hassan. Great to have you with us.
I'm free from the dungeon. I'm back. What's
Barry
up?
let you out. Good, good.
Yep.
Hopefully get a chance to spend some time with your kids now that you're out for a little while too.
Right? Oh my
right.
gosh, it's been 4 years. I can't believe.
Well, yes. If you haven't joined us for a while, or maybe this is the first time listening in, watching in on our live episode, Hassan was the founder of the podcast, and great to have him back and jumping in the conversation on this episode. And if you are new, be sure to join us live. If you're joining us right now, join us in the live chat. We love interacting with you guys in between all the episodes, but especially during the episode as well. So if you're following us along on YouTube or on Twitch, we'd love for you to jump in the live chat and join in the conversation throughout the episode. But if you do watch us afterwards, that's cool too. You can just throw your thoughts and comments down in the comment section, and we'd love to have you there. But also, you can follow us on most social medias at NintendoFuse. And you can also join our Discord server as well. That link is going to be in the show notes and the YouTube description. In fact, all of our links are going to be in the show notes and the YouTube description. We'd love to have you guys join us over on there as well. But yeah, it's time for episode 318. Just a quick programming note before we jump into anything else is this is going to be our last episode until August. So again, this one's recording on July 1st of 2025. We'll be back in August. We're going to take a brief summer break, but hopefully you guys will not miss us too much, and you'll join us back when we come back in August. But let's jump into what we've been playing, and let's go to our guest first. Hassan, what have you been playing lately?
I've been playing a few things. Now that the Switch 2 is out, finally, playing more than just Fortnite. Although Fortnite is on my list, so I'll get to that. But been playing some Mario Kart World. At this point, my focus right now is trying to unlock all the characters. So I've been stuck on the last few characters, trying to get the comic item and trying to get it's such a pain, and I still can't do it. I'm still missing a few, like 5 characters, I think. So I'm getting sick of the same courses that I keep trying over and over and just standing there trying to farm item boxes and trying to do this. If anybody has any tips, let me know, because I'm struggling with that.
You're not alone,
But
Hassan.
otherwise,
You're not alone.
it's been fun. Yeah, right. That's what I hear. I don't know. I don't know why they did that. It confuses me. Um, but otherwise, yeah, I've been enjoying the game. And when it first came out, I had some of my family from California visiting, and so we were all playing 4-player, Mario Kart, playing the Knockout Tour, yelling and screaming and fully getting into it. And then when they went back, they actually just recently picked up a Switch 2. So we haven't played online yet, but looking forward to playing more of that as well.
Nice.
Also, Fortnite, as I mentioned, there's a new Squid Game map as part of the reload mode that they have. And then there's also a new Blitz Royale mode, which is like the Battle Royale, but condensed down into a 5-minute game. So it's only got 30 something players instead of 100. And it's super fun. I've gotten a ton of wins through that mode because it's just so fast paced. You get in there, you start out with a bunch of weapons already, and can just kind of do some quick matches that way. So so that's been a lot of fun as well. And then the other one is Putt Putt Travels Through Time for the Nintendo Switch. Old school classic. I played it, when I was a kid. on the PC, but I downloaded it on the Switch just because I was reminiscing about my childhood a while ago. But now with my son, we're kind of playing through it together, where he's not good enough with a controller or anything to know how to do it, but he'll tell me like, okay, go here, click on this or whatever, and I'll do it for him. So he's trying to like navigate through the game that way. And so that's been kind of fun to walk through together as well. Um, and then on the mobile side, playing a little bit of Pokemon TCG Pocket as well. There's a new EV set that just came out. They keep cranking out new sets, and I can't keep up with it. It's a lot. I was at first trying to collect every card that they were doing, promo cards and everything, and then I just missed like one event, and then I was like, all right, well, I'll just play when I can at this point now. It's a lot to keep up with, but it's fun opening packs though and trying to collect as well.
That's true. Yeah, as long as at least you started when the game came out, because Greg started late and he's playing a lot of catch up right now. So speaking of Greg, what have you been playing lately?
Well, I guess to just keep it simple, I was obviously playing some of more of that, but I'm nowhere near as full as sets as you guys are probably. And even then, even the last few weeks I haven't done last 2 weeks I didn't play it every single day. Even it's just kind of winding down a little bit as it keeps getting more and more updates and cards and stuff. It's really hard to want to even log in because it's like, am I really going to get the cards I really need to either one complete the sets or even be able to make like decks? Because a lot of the events decks are so hard to even defeat. Even with the rental deck, it's not a guaranteed win or anything like that either. So like that's been kind of the frustrating part for me that I touched on in the previous episode. But back over to Switch 2, I did play some more Mario Kart World. I did a little bit of the single player to try to do some more of the 100 and then even the regular 50cc things to get more gold cups and along with the 3-star ratings. I didn't jump through those fast as I think both you guys had done. I wife had some girlfriends over the other day and we did like some four player versus race Grand Prix stuff, and that was even more ton of fun just to have everybody just playing together on one TV, and had the Switch 1 controllers to help supplement the lack of Switch 2 controllers in the house. But that was definitely a really lot of fun and pretty good races that we had there. Then also on the mobile side, I've done the usual Roblox set of games like the Adopt Me and Dandy's World along with Grow a Garden. I think I've talked about all those previously, so just kind of still playing along at each of those. And then a newer game that my daughter just got me hooked on in the last 2-3 days is Cookie Run Kingdom. So I guess it's some kind of strategy like RPG like type game where there's tons of like building aspects to it. You can build like your own kingdom, and then you try to use some of these like cookie cutter type things to summon new hero type cookies of different rarities and different abilities, and you can level up their skills. You can level them all the way up to like level 90 or whatever, and it's really deep. And I guess the game's been out for quite a long time, so I've just been trying to blaze through the story because it gives you a lot of different options, like have plenty of stamina to try to get through it and unlock the stuff that you can during the story mode. So we've been having a lot of fun playing that together, and we're on the same server and became friends. And so then she's having a lot of fun doing her own polls on her account, and then she wants to watch me when I do the polls on mine, like, oh, you're so lucky you got this one. And but so yeah, I don't know if you guys ever played that one at all, but that's just something I just found and actually pretty much enjoyed. The story is pretty solid from what I've seen so far, and there's tons of different modes to go in. You can battle against other players. They have like the PvP along with just their main story mode. It's almost kind of a mix of like Fire Emblem Heroes and other type of games that have like the aspect where you're just leveling up characters and their abilities and collecting different skills and everything. And it goes a lot deeper, but it's more like a running combat, not like a turn-based one like Fire Emblem, or like moving like a little bit at a time. You kind of like run through the course and then you hit like the attack button to attack the oncoming enemies and whatever. But there's like power ratings and strength and attack, defense, and all that stuff to still play through.
Wow. Is this
Yeah.
mobile or is it on Switch?
It's a mobile game, so it's like on iPad and phones and Android, I'm sure.
Cool. Barry, how about you?
Yeah, I played more games than you guys did, but not as much as I wanted to of those games because I had my in-laws here who just left yesterday, so I'm missing that in work. I've been very busy, but on the Switch side, still doing Pokemon Unite and been having a lot of fun with Asphalt Legends Unite. I'm trying to work my way through the camp career because it's a big, big, big career. It's ridiculously huge, and been doing the different events as they occur. And my son loves watching it. That's the best part to me. He just loves watching the cars. He's a boom and beep beep and just like all the different sounds he makes for me. I'm like, all right, I love it. Played a little Tetris 99 this past weekend. They did the Maximus Cups, and I missed one of the ones. I missed the Splatoon one, but I did get the Pikmin 3 because I totally forgot about it. And I was like, oh yeah, that's a thing. And it was one per day, so I was too late. But I did get at least the Pikmin 3 or Pikmin 4, whatever it was, theme. And then a couple game chat review games. I played a little Flora and Fang, which is a arcade style, uh, simple game in that sense, like Stanley the Bug Man from Donkey Kong 3. But it's your vampires defending your greenhouse from bugs and stuff. So it's
As you
Donkey
do.
Kong 3, but with vampires. So I'll be doing a review. So look forward to that. Played a little Lost in Random: The Eternal Die, which is pretty much set in the Lost in Random world, but it's Hades. The game is Hades. It's play till you die, go back in, use the points to give you permanent upgrades, keep going. Even the easy mode that it has is Hades, where you get you take like less damage each turn as you die, which I appreciate. And then Irem Collection Volume 3, which is a collection of 3 different old school Irem shmups, arcade shmups, getting brought over to the Switch. And we'll be doing a game chat on that. But if you like shmups, it is definitely really good. At least I had a lot of fun with it. So it's a quick play, but they're arcade games. It's a lot of fun, though. Then I also played a little Sega Ages Shinobi because I was just feeling nostalgic. It was on sale, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? I haven't played Shinobi in a while. It's the arcade version, so I went through that. And then Switch 2, Mario Kart World. Still working on, like Hassan, I'm working on the characters. I'm down to 3, and I'm tired of seeing the same levels. I'm trying to do the 2-player technique. I did the 1-player technique. I said screw it, and I'm going to knockout tour and see what happens. And it's either I don't get hit with the item, or it's one I already have, or it never appears. Oftentimes it never appears, and it's just like this is the dumbest way. It's RNG on top of RNG to unlock characters. Just like at this point, I'm ready to throw real money at them just to give me the characters, so I don't have to do this anymore. It's a really poor decision, but that's what they did. And I'm also doing some more of the world, the free roam and finding stuff, but I don't think I'm on 100%. There's just so many. I know people, I'm on 100%. Maybe if they put in an in-game map, maybe if they give us the ability to teleport to different ones you found already, or some kind of markup on your map so you know what you did. I'm an old man. Give me easy stuff. Come on. And then playing some Puyo Puyo Tetris 2S, which we have a game check coming out, but I was messing around with that. And I actually did game share to Switch to test that out, which is something we didn't do for the review,
Oh,
to
that's true.
Switch 1. And it worked. My wife was playing on her Switch 1, and I was on the Switch 2, and it worked, but it was a little like it would go in and out of like clarity on the game, and she just wound up saying screw it and just looked at the TV and just used her Switch as a second controller. So it does work, which is actually pretty cool. But again, that's a game that's already on the Switch. But I was just neat to see game chat between Switch and 2 and Switch 1. Played some Split Fiction with my wife, which we'll be doing another game chat on in a bit. It's a fun action game with 2 players at the same time. Also, some more Yakuza Zero Director's Cut, another game we'll be doing a game chat on. Which it's funny. I'm actually when I started this for listeners of the podcast, I started this 2 years ago. I tried getting into the Yakuza series. I'm actually past the point of where I was last time, and I feel like I'm enjoying it a little bit more this time. But there's a lot going on, and it's really hard to focus when I had like my son running around and my in-laws over and
Yeah.
all this stuff going on.
That's
But
the whole reason I haven't started it yet,
Mhm.
because I'm like, I know I need to focus on it. Question
Yeah,
though, like, do I need to know what's going on in the rest of the games since
well,
you've
it's
played more
Yakuza
of them?
0.
Right.
I've
So
only
this is
played this.
this is the
This
only
is all I
one.
played.
Oh, I thought you got further than. Okay, never mind. So you
I
started,
got
but
further
you didn't get too
this
far at
time.
all. Okay.
I got into chapter 2 on the PS4, and I'm in chapter 3 right now on the Switch.
Okay.
But that was like certain things I remembered, like as I was playing, like, oh, I remember this, I remember where to go here, I remember what happens. It's like it was like core memories almost came back to me. But yeah, I'm a little further this time than I was the first time. But no, this is the first game, like in
Okay.
chronologically, so you don't need to know anything about any of the other games, which
Perfect.
I think is why they brought it to the Switch. And the first one's on the Switch. I wonder if that's going to get a Switch 2 port, or if any of the others are going to come over, because I don't see why not. But yeah, so I've been doing that. On PC, still doing Final Fantasy 14. Almost done with my PvP rank and getting ready for the new update in August. And on mobile, Mario Kart Tour and TCG Pocket, like you guys are playing, as well as the New York Times games. And feel like the only person in the world still playing, but I play the LinkedIn games. Everyone's like, "What? LinkedIn has games?" They do, and they're fun. I don't know if you had a chance to try them, Steve, but
I
they're
forgot
quick and
until like
fun.
yesterday, and I was like, oh, I need to sometime make the time to I need
Like
to
like I
reinstall LinkedIn on my phone.
It's like 5 minutes a day of brain puzzles, like, that's it. It's like a really quick I do it in the morning when I get up, it's like, just jolts my brain, gets it ready for the day. But I have fun with them, so
Nice.
Do you want a job after you're done then?
I already
I
have
just
a
got a new
job,
job.
so I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah, I also been playing the IRM collection, all the shmups and everything, and yeah, Barry and I'll be talking about that soon on a game chat. And yeah, it's fun. They are difficult games though. I'll just say
I
that.
I put it on easy, and I had no problem, I don't know, but yeah.
We'll talk more on the game chat. But yeah, I've been playing some Mario Kart World. I am not trying to unlock everything like you guys are. That is way too much work and way too much monotony, and I'm just enjoying the game. Um, but then played some Puyo Puyo Tetris 2S as well. Like we said, we get the game chat coming on out for that pretty soon, and Barry and I played some together, and that was fun. Kind of went back and forth and realized that I think you get points faster in Tetris, and so I was glad I chose that and really beat Barry at one point. But we kind of go back and forth on the other stages when we tried that, so that was fun. Played a little bit of SNES on NSO, mostly on my Switch Lite. I've been just like cleaning my home office the other day, and I was just like, oh yeah, I have this thing. Um, and I mostly have it just because it's a Pokemon version. It's kind of cool and everything. And I was like, maybe I should update the OS, and so I updated it, and I found out you cannot, even though you can have a Switch 2 and a Switch 1 on your same account and be able to swap back and forth, you still cannot have multiple Switch 1s, which was a pain. So and you can only link one Switch 1 with one Switch 2. Like, so you can't have more. And so I found that out as I was playing. And I needed to charge it, and I plugged it into my Switch 2. And I got me thinking, how cool could it be potentially if you were able to link a Switch or a Switch Lite as a controller on your Switch 2? That would be fun. You can't, but it would be fun. Even plugged in, I was like, oh, maybe it'll work. No, it does not. Um, and then played some Sonic and Shadow Generations, which we'll have a game chat on that pretty soon as well. Played some Rocket League. I played it on Switch 2 again, and I still prefer it on Xbox or PC, only because I want analog triggers. I just Rocket League does not operate the way it should when you don't have analog triggers. So I'm sticking with playing on Xbox or PC for now. But it looks pretty on the Switch too. Played some Roblox. I finally booted it up the other day, and I have no idea what I'm doing, Greg. It is overwhelming when you boot that game up and you're like, there are so many options and so many things to choose from, and I had no idea what I was doing. I went to a basketball game that performed like crap, and I just got yelled at the whole time because they're like typing in the little chat. They're like, they think that everybody, it's Roblox is like the internet, and they think, you get on there and everybody knows what they're doing, and I have no clue what I'm doing, and I'm just getting yelled at the whole time and not knowing how to shoot or pass or steal or anything. So that wasn't fun. And then I booted up another game that I have no idea. I think it was just called like Pull Sword or something, where you just like pull a sword out of something and you swing it around and level up your character. But you can also put it on auto swing or auto train. So that's all I did. I just pushed auto train and set my phone to the side and somehow leveled up. I don't know. It seemed dumb. So I need to find the right things to play, Greg. So you need to help me out. I've heard great things about the grow a garden thing. I need to try that one out. But I have no idea what else I'm doing in Roblox. So you have to help me out sometime.
Yeah, I can definitely do that.
And then Clash Royale and Pokemon TCG as well. So yeah, if you're in the live chat, let us know what you guys been playing, or let us know afterwards in the comments as well. But let's move on to what we've been playing, or from what we've been playing, and move into a few headlines of news that's been happening over the last few couple weeks. And we'll start off with, of course, a Nintendo Music update. As of June 23rd, we got the soundtrack for Yoshi's Story added to the Nintendo Music app. And then, of course, on June 30th, finally, new Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe has been added to the Nintendo Music app. So if you're an NSO subscriber, make sure you download the Nintendo Music app and check out the new games and songs that have been added to the app.
Speaking of games and new games for your library, Nintendo is throwing a summer sale on the eShop. And what's significant about these is this is a few times when Nintendo actually puts their games on sale. Unfortunately, it's just the digital, but I think like Amazon and Best Buy are actually matching a lot of the physical prices with it, so that's kind of cool. But they've got games like Animal Crossing, Super Mario 3D World, Mario Odyssey, Link's Awakening, Luigi's Mansion 2, Xenoblade 2, NES World Championship, like all of these games on sale, as well as a bunch of third parties, putting their games on sale as well. So if you're looking for something fun to play, you can't go wrong right now. Save a lot of money.
Speaking of looking for things to play, if you haven't checked out Mario Kart World, Nintendo announced a little Mario Kart World like game truck at local Best Buys all throughout the country. So there's like 17 or so different states and different cities that they'll be located in over this summer time frame. So different Best Buys from California and Colorado, Delaware, Florida, even here for me in Illinois, Kentucky, Minnesota, New York, and other states as well that Steve is scrolling on the screen that if you're watching the video version you can see, but you could check out any of these stores if you are local to any of these, or figure out if your local Best Buy will have one of these game trucks available for you to play Mario Kart World.
If you want to break from the racetrack, on July 3rd, we have a new addition to the Nintendo Switch Online Expansion Pass service exclusive to Switch 2 for the GameCube. It's Super Mario Strikers. So, the Mario Soccer game is back and on the Switch 2, available in just a couple days. So, you can check that out.
Nice. I'm a huge Mario Strikers fan, especially the one on Wii. That's the one I want to come back. Well, we're
Yeah.
gonna forget the one that came out for Switch. Just doesn't exist.
It was a fun game. It just needed content.
It just needed
Like
more of it.
more content. Yeah, the mechanics worked and I had a blast with it, but I was done in a night and that was it. And I was like, give me more.
Yeah.
I don't know if
So,
I've ever played the GameCube one, actually, because I know I definitely played the
Hmm.
Wii one. I liked it, but now I have the chance.
there you go. Yeah. And we can play online because
Yeah.
it's built in. So I think that's the cool thing. Like, I can't wait till they have Double Dash. We can play Double Dash
Oh
online.
man.
It's gonna be great.
Yes.
Great.
One of the few GameCube games that actually used the adapter.
Yeah. So, Hassan, any overall thoughts on any of these? I mean, you talked about Mario Strikers, but any thoughts on the rest of the headlines?
Not particularly. I mean, I think I have most of the games that I need, that are on sale and so forth. I think the music app, while interesting for them to have the app, I don't know that I've ever actually really used it. So maybe at some point I'll dive into it and play. It just still feels weird to me that they're just like trickling out new games when I'm like, just give it to us, just let us listen. But it is cool though that they are continuing to support, you know, something new. So I'll probably check that out at some point.
It's true. Greg, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the avid listener of the Nintendo Fuse for Nintendo Fuse for the music app, so I listened to it all the way on my way out to like the concert I just was at this last weekend. So it was just fun to listen to some jams in the car. Not really for New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe or even for Yoshi's Story, but it was still some of the classic stuff on there. I finally dove around with the playlist thing, and I've kind of discovered they're missing some good games that need to be in there, but that's probably a discussion for a different day. But um, yeah, it's great. I still like to see that there's more games being added in, and there's still ton more left to go. And wish it was faster than the virtual console pace. So just getting like, here's two different music ones or like basically a game like every week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the summer sale is great. It's anyone that's looking for some high quality Switch One games is the chance to get them, especially as we have the upgrade packs and stuff to get on Switch Two. So might as well save yourself a little bit of money if you don't have it on Switch One. The Mario Kart Tour World Game Truck thing is kind of interesting if you're still on the fence about Mario Kart Tour. So, I mean, I think we recorded a video. I don't know if our game chat went live yet, but you can always hear our thoughts if you want to go check it out if you haven't had a chance to play it yet. And then I actually did play Strikers on GameCube, and that's kind of what led me to get the Wii version. So I always had a problem with the AI in this game in particular because I feel like I would get into a pattern and I'd like be winning like 4-0, and then all of a sudden the AI just like becomes like Mario Kart AI and like, oh, we're losing by too much. Let's turn the difficulty from easy into incredibly impossible, and then they just like steal the ball all the time from you and just like score, and like you can't even like defend against it. And I've always had issues playing that one, and like even on line on Wii it was kind of difficult. But I already know I'm not a huge Strikers fan anymore due to that AI type issue, but it's great that it's there for anyone that wanted to see where the series got its roots.
Mm-hmm.
You know what the solution to that is, right, Greg? Get good.
Yeah, it's usually the common trope with that.
The remake of NBA Jam was the same way. Like
Yeah.
you get really good, and then all of a sudden similar to Mario Kart World, what people have been claiming at the higher end, you're like you get really good, and so does the CPU at that point. Barry, what do you think of these headlines?
Like Hassan, I really haven't brought up the Nintendo Music app, but I love that they're still adding and they're even including games like Yoshi's Story. Just keep bringing out more games and to the service. And I think they're just trickling out one due to rights. They might still have to deal with rights with the music, but two, they're trickling out content because if they give everything all at once, then people will listen for a bit and then stop using the app, and they want people to go back to the app, and I think that's why they do it. Just like NSO, if they could give you every game instantly, it would be such a surge of what to play, and maybe you wouldn't play the new games that come out because you have too much else to play. So they trickle it in and go, oh, you haven't opened the NES app in a while. Well, here's some new games. Here's a reason for you to open it up again. So I get it. I just wish the consistency was a little faster with the NSO. Nintendo Music has been killing it with the consistency. It's like every week there's a new thing, and I think that's smart. Summer sale, I found a few things I'm interested in, and I wound up picking up. It's always nice when things go on sale because it's the only way I'll buy anything digital. But I think Nintendo it's just they don't need to put their games on sale, so I'm still waiting for a few of the digital only like Flip Wars. I'm waiting for Flip Wars to go on sale. I think it's like a $10 game, but I'm like, no, on principle, I will not buy it at $10. I will not. Give me a sale. Give me that 30% off. Let me save that $3 and make me feel good. I have other things to play right now. because Nintendo did put out a bunch of digital only titles, so it's like, all right, I'll just wait. As for the Mario Kart truck, I think that's smart. I think they know Mario Kart sells. I think anyone who wanted a Switch 2 got one pretty much. And if someone is on the fence, this might convince them. Or, bring the families out to Best Buy, or just random shoppers going, oh, what's this? And I didn't even hear about this, and they get to play. So any exposure is good. Nintendo needs to keep up with the marketing. It's not for me. I mean, there's none in my state, and there's no reason at all for me to travel to New York to get to a Best Buy to play a game. I could go upstairs right now and play. So I think it's great for other people, but not for me. And Strikers, I didn't play the GameCube Strikers, and so for me, I might check it out. I'm happy it's there. I think it's great that they're adding more games to GameCube because they only launched with 3, but they definitely I want to see some other ones appear too. Like, give me Eternal Darkness, give me Geist, give me games that people have forgotten about. That there's a lot of cool stuff on the GameCube.
Yeah. 4-player Strikers right here. You gotta
Oh
go.
man, I don't know. We
That'd be
might all
kind of
have to
cool
gang
with
up.
game chat and stuff too. That'd be
Yeah,
fun.
you
Be
know
fun.
what we should do? We should all suck and let Greg start winning, and then we should just start actually playing to give him that authentic GameCube experience from
That's
his
right.
childhood.
That's right.
I mean, I think I'll probably just suck the whole time, but so maybe you do want to play with me, Greg. Then you'll get your wins.
Yes, sounds like that's my best bet is playing Hassan and not Steve and Barry apparently.
Barry's never played it though, so
I never played it. I played the Switch version, but I never played the GameCube.
there we go. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Strikers, of course. I'm the same with you guys. Like, I think it's cool that they're doing the game truck thing, but I can play it right now on the podcast, as Jakester's talking about in the chat. I'm like, hey, you guys can continue on. I'm gonna play Mario Kart Tour right now. But those game trucks are fun. I wish I had one. And summer sale is really cool. I have not looked through the whole list yet, but I may grab 1 or 2 games, but I've got so many games that I haven't played yet. We talked about a couple already. Split Fiction, Yakuza 0. I still need to play those games. So we'll see how good the sale is if I decide to grab a couple and add it to my backlist. But yeah, I'm Greg listens to the Nintendo Music app. The rest of us, I listened to it a couple times, but I love that they just keep adding it too. I think it's fun to have them trickled out, but at the same time, yeah, like you have all the music, just add it to it. But it is kind of fun to see what they add each week.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not advertising they just need to upload their entire library, but I just feel like there's some critical games that have been kind of missing in there too.
It is weird when that happens, yeah.
Because I finally was playing around with the playlist thing, and that's where I noticed that there's a few games. I was like, wow, I'm actually kind of surprised is it on there yet? And the main one there was being like Super Metroid. Like they have regular Metroid on NES and have like I believe Metroid Dread and stuff on there, but like no Super Metroid.
Hmm,
He'll come maybe around Metroid Prime 4 as a cross promotion or something.
that could be. Go in the chat real quick. Jakester's there and says he's been playing and finished new Super Lucky's Tale, a short but sweet 3D platformer, Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet, which I didn't find fun or interesting, and Xenoblade Chronicles X. And then, is that Finn? Man, I thought my eyes were good, but I cannot read. Is it Finn Chapter 5 or... All those letters are like blurring together. Maybe I need some sleep.
He said finish Chapter 5.
Oh, finish chapter 5. There it is. Okay. Man, like I have good eyes and I was having trouble with that one. And then Tired Gaming Dad just jumped in there and was talking about the display of the Switch 2. Many online and even Digital Foundry have talked about it being a really bad display on the Switch 2. I Barry, any of you guys have any idea what they're talking about? Because I have found this display to
The
be fantastic.
I think like the refresh rate compared to like some other screens isn't as good. But I mean, this is the case, I believe, of like going to the store and looking at a wall of TVs, and when you see them all together, you could say, well, this one's a little darker, this one's
Yeah.
a little blurrier, this one's, not as sharp. But when you buy whatever TV you buy and you bring it in your home and you turn it on, it's going to look
Mhm.
great.
Mhm.
So if you're purposely looking for a problem, you're going to find a problem. And if you have those other screens and you're like, oh, look, this one's just not as good, then you're going to see that. But if you're playing the Switch 2, whether, in handheld, and you're just playing the Switch 2, you're not going to notice it or care. It's people who just want to find and nitpick and complain because that's
Yeah.
their life. I don't know.
I mean, from what I've seen, at
Yeah,
least online and some of the groups, some people are saying that the OLED has a better screen to them than they felt on the Switch 2. That's where like the main comparison thing is coming in because like obviously it's more of an LCD versus OLED thing. So I mean, I'm not super noticeable on the
which
graphics. I've only done Nintendo systems, but yeah, I I think
You
it's
got richer
fine.
yeah.
But
blacks on the OLED, but again, when you compare them side by side, you're gonna see, well, the OLED has darker blacks, and yeah. But if you're just playing the Switch 2, you're probably not gonna notice it, and the majority of people aren't gonna notice it. And if you're purposely looking at the blacks to say like, oh, this isn't as dark, then again, you're looking for a problem. You're gonna find it. That's your own fault. Just play the game and enjoy.
Yeah, going from the OLED to the Switch 2, I didn't even think about it once when playing the Switch 2. It just the screen looks good and it's really not an issue.
Yeah. I was watching Linus Tech Tips did comparison. I think
Hmm.
he just launched it like yesterday or today with his son. He's like got a, I don't know, teenage son, and he was like going through all the different handheld PCs and everything, and his son, who is not an avid gamer but still a gamer, like, and Linus is even talking about it. It's like, no, the Switch 2 screen is fantastic. It doesn't have the contrast of the OLED Switch, but it has HDR and it's got a whole lot faster refresh rate. And the fact that they can put it in this small of a system and have that, I mean, it's not great battery life, but that good of battery life compared to all the other handheld PCs that are getting like 40 minutes or an hour. You can actually get a couple hours or more out of the Switch 2. Like, yeah, I think we're all in agreement.
Yeah.
The Switch 2 screen is just good. It's more than good enough for what we need right now.
It's funny because I feel like a couple years ago, back in the middle, it's a couple years ago now, it's about a decade ago. I would play the 3DS and I would enjoy it, and then a game would come out and I played the Vita, and every time I picked up the Vita to play it, I was always blown away. I was like, wow, like compared to the 3DS, this is unbelievably amazing. It was an OLED screen, it was more powerful, and it was not running two screens at the same time. And it was just like, wow, this is awesome. I'm really enjoying it. I never felt that like Hassan said, I picked up the Switch OLED, and I picked up the Switch 2 and I never noticed any difference. Like it's just whatever, it looks great.
Hmm. Yeah. Tired Gaming Dad said that is what I was kind of thinking. People are just looking for issues versus people wanting to enjoy a game. Yeah. Yeah. I think so as well. People are always going to find things to complain about, especially online. So let's jump into a couple of our main discussions. And first of all, let's talk about some Donkey Kong Bonanza. So the game doesn't drop until July 17th, but we've got a Nintendo Direct that dropped the day after our last podcast. So thanks Nintendo for that. But then also a couple of us have had a chance to play the demo. And so, Hassan, I thought before we jump into the direct itself and discuss all those details, I give you a chance to talk about your experience with the demo. I'll share my experiences after yours, and I'm going to attempt to. I recorded a little bit of my horrible gameplay because I was trying to film with one hand and play with one hand on the controller. So I took some photos and some videos of me trying to play at my local Walmart. But as you're doing that, I'm gonna attempt to throw those on the screen. So hopefully I don't mess everything up. If you're watching the video version and this is cut out later, you know what happened. It went bad. So Hassan, what was your experience like with the demo of Donkey Kong Bonanza?
Yeah, so I went to Best Buy. I think I was trying to pick something up. I was there with my son, and then I remembered I was like, "Oh wait, I wonder if they have switched to demo stations. They have Donkey Kong." And then I saw like a couple there. Like there's two different Switch 2s they had. The one for with the Pro Controller, one that you could play with the console. They actually didn't have it like Steve's video connected to a TV, so it was just either one as a handheld, Switch 2, and then one, Switch 2 handheld but using the Pro Controller. And so they were kind of playing, and I was just like hovering around with my son. I was like, I want to play. Are they going to be finished? And their son is there in a cart or whatever, and he's kind of crying and getting upset. And I'm like, I'm waiting. Your child wants to leave. Come on. So finally, like 10 minutes later, we managed to get in and play a little. So I didn't get to play the full demo because my son kind of wanted to play also. So he took one of the switches, and I was sort of half helping him. But overall, the game looked really good, and it was very satisfying. Just going around, just smashing everything, jumping around, kind of doing all the different, moves and stuff. It felt very like polished and very just fun to do. Even my son was there, and he'd walk up to one of the bananas and just mash the button and do it. He'd be like, "Daddy, look, I got the banana!" And he was excited. But and then I got to do a little bit of the skill tree stuff that you're seeing on the screen there as well. And then shortly after this is I think where I stopped the demo for myself. But it was just a teaser, just a couple minutes, but it was enough to like really solidify my hype in the game, and definitely seems like it'll be fun just exploring the worlds and just smashing everything.
Yeah. And you really do, you can smash everything, and like it, it's kind of, it's fun, but it's kind of a little annoying because almost everything is destructible. And so if you hit the wrong button, like you just destroyed the ground under you, and you're gonna keep on going, and you're gonna like eventually be able to make your way out of whatever you're playing. But yeah, it was fun just to see the game itself and play it. I did not like how I mean, it made sense, but I wasn't a huge fan of the control structure. So A, to jump, it was kind of, I had to wrap my head around A being jump, because I kept trying to hit B, because that's typically what jump is. But B is down pound, and Y is your punch, and X is it X? Yeah, would be your up punch. And so A really is the only other button that they would be left to do jump. And so that was a little bit of retraining my brain a little bit around that, but it was still really fun. And I enjoyed my time with the game itself. And there were like several times where I was thinking, man, like, okay, like I think I get the hang of this now. And like, so I'm still on the fence if I want to actually get the game or not. But I was enjoying it a lot more than I expected to. And so like, I'm glad they have the demo available. And I'm just wondering if they're eventually going to drop it on the eShop as well. Because that was it's kind of weird that they have it just in the stores. That's like unlike Nintendo recently. But yeah, I think I had fun with it. There seems to be a lot. It kind of gives this. It's a linear story, but it's an open world feel in each of the levels as well. It's like you get dropped in there and like go figure out what you need to do. You can talk to people, and you can bust things around, and you can just do your own thing for a while, and you can eventually come. And yeah, it could be really I think it's definitely seems like it'd be a game that you could sink hours and hours into if you wanted to. Just trying to 100%, or just trying to explore things, or just going around and just destroying things that you want to as well. And there's a bunch of like side store prod or challenges as well. So I got to one, I don't know if you get this, Hudson, but the one where you have to like jump on this I don't even know what you call it, but you have to jump and hang and climb around, and there's like these big pieces that you have to. There's like a reality TV video or kind of like a video game thing, but it's like really. It's not like um, you have to go through these like make your body in like a certain position to like go through the holes in the wall as it comes. So it's not like that detailed, but it still has like these walls that are moving around and you have to like slide through the holes in order to keep on moving and stuff. And I fell off several times, mostly because I was trying to play one handed. But I did struggle through that. But yeah, I think I enjoyed it. I highly recommend trying to find a Best Buy or Walmart or whatever that has it and check it out. Um, Barry, Greg, any thoughts before we jump into the direct from what you've seen or heard or anything about Donkey Kong Bonanza so far?
I didn't go play any of the demos yet. I didn't even realize they were sending those out so fast already because I haven't really been into one of those stores yet. But I was ready to go in blind. I've already been fully sold on it. I just pretty much commented in the chat. I might be trying to change the jump button around depending on how it plays out. But um, and I even noted that they were trying to make their games more accessible and be more open to changing control schemes around. So I hope that there's other options available, or even lets you switch them if you don't
Yeah.
like the default ones.
Yeah. I'm sure we probably can. I just didn't mess with it in the thing because you only get 15 minutes in
But yeah,
the
the demo.
demo before it quits.
I don't even think the demo would let you do that. It's probably just more just experience the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering if you'll have a built-in if they're going to start doing that, which is nice. Otherwise, you have to change it in the actual system side, which is annoying because then it changes everything. Because in order to do that, you would have to make BA and AB, which means you have to retrain your brain on how to cancel and accept things then on the
Yeah.
Switch.
I think
But
it
I,
should be based on game because I think other customizations so far on Switch 2 games have been based per game.
oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So if they do that, but I think the reason they haven't launched it on the eShop yet is most likely some kind of deal with Best Buy, where Best Buy said we want this in our stores, but you have to be like a timed exclusive as an incentive for people to go into their stores, and then
I know other stores I think have it too. I've seen people
Mhm.
say that some Walmarts have it,
Yeah.
maybe Target.
That's where
I've
I
seen a
was.
few
it might
various
just be a retail
reports,
thing
but
then. They might say, "Hey, we'll
yeah.
give you this, but it won't be on the eShop for until like a week before launch or whatever." I'm sure there's something like that because they want to keep their retail partners happy. As for me, even if the demo was there, I wouldn't touch it unless it said the save data carries over. Because I like Greg, I'm sold on the game. I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna play it. I'm excited. I don't need a demo at this point. But if the save data carries over, then I could start it a little earlier, and then I'm cool. Then I will get the demo.
Yeah. Yeah, Jakester mentioned that it's at Target. Target and Walmart, and then at Best Buy, I think, are the three stores that I'd heard that it was at. So, and I played it at Walmart. So, but yeah, check it around if you are wanting to check it out, or you just wanting to check out the Switch 2 as a whole, and you haven't been able to get your hands on one. Yeah, the demo units are popping up in lots of stores, and so you can go and check it out. You don't have to wait till the game truck to go play. You can actually just play it at your local store. So let's jump into this Nintendo Direct that Nintendo dropped back on June 18th, all about Donkey Kong Bonanza. And we get to see a lot. Encourage you guys to check it out and everything. But some of the highlights that they hit were, of course, new ways to smash and bash. So you have the all these different abilities to, of course, punch and smash under you, smash over you, but also jump and dive down. And you can pull off pieces of the earth or the ground around you and throw those as well and tear off chunks and hurl it at the enemies and sometimes even take pieces of the enemies and throw them at them as well, which is kind of a little morbid, but hey, it looked fun. And they also had banana transformations. And so well, let's not bury the lead. That little rock character, I forgot what his name was, but apparently it's Pauline, a younger version of Pauline, and apparently she is a big singer at this point as well. And so that was hinted at, rumored. People had found out a little bit early. I didn't know anything about it, and so all of a sudden I was shocked to see that. Jakester said Oddrock, yeah. So Oddrock turns into Pauline, and she has this ability to sing and unlock different things. And so along the way, you're going to be able to use Pauline's singing energy to activate transformations. And so Donkey Kong can turn into a zebra, can turn into an ostrich, all these different animals, and do different things based on that. There's co-op play where you can play with a friend. So a friend can play as Pauline, you can play as Donkey Kong, or vice versa. And of course, you have collectibles that you're going to be able to get along the way. There are very familiar faces along the way, like Diddy Kong and more that you're going to be able to encounter along the way. Cranky Kong, of course. Rambi even shows up. And there's going to be getaways and elevators. And so you can treat yourself to a getaway while on the underground map and sleep in a comfy bed to restore your energy. And I've heard that while you're doing that, Pauline has conversations mostly with herself because she's apparently trying to talk to Donkey Kong, but he's like just making noises. She's basically talking to herself at those times. And then there's other creative game modes where you can do photo mode, but you can also do a DK artist mode where you can carve a stone. And I'm just waiting until people do inappropriate things because hey, it's the world we live in, and it's the internet. So yeah, they're going to carve some inappropriate things, and then they're going to post them online with that photo mode. So yeah, Nintendo allow this time. We don't have a Miiverse for them to post it on though. And then of course, Amiibo functionality is there. There's going to be a special Donkey Kong and Pauline Amiibo that's going to be dropping also on June 17th. And you can use it to unlock Pauline's in-game diva dress early and receive Kong tiles with explosive power as well. And then you can also use other amiibo in the game where they'll grant you a giant sphere of terrain material that can aid you on your adventure as well. So lots of details that they showed off in this game. Barry, what'd you think of the direct? What'd you think of what they showed off? You're already sold on the game, I know, but has this
Yep.
helped any at all?
Well, I wasn't even gonna watch this direct, but the that morning I was driving around trying to get some of the Final Fantasy Magic cards because I heard there was a restock, but it was at the time of the direct, so I put it on my phone, but I was driving, so I couldn't watch it. So I listened to the direct the first time, and like as they were talking about things, I'm like, wait, what? Like I can't see this right now. What transforming? Like, and as I was hearing it, I was actually getting really excited. I'm like, this sounds way more in depth than I thought. And because I was listening, I was focusing on the music, and the music that they played during the direct, the remixes were fantastic. DKC, the DK rap, there was just DKC 2. There was just some great remixes. So I was like, oh, I'm really enjoying this. And then towards the end of the trailer, when they played like the brand new theme and all that stuff, I started tearing up. I was like, what are you doing to me, man? I'm trying to drive here, you know?
This is Donkey
So
Kong.
that exactly. So later when I got home, I rewatched it. This time I actually got to watch it. I watched it with my wife, and I was like, all right, like let's watch it. And when this like transformed to a zebra, I was picturing like an actual zebra. I wasn't picturing like a Hulkman zebra thing. So that was definitely different. Like for half the day, I'm thinking he turns into a zebra, like an actual zebra, which is pretty funny. So I mean, I think everything they showed was great. I want to know where it fits in the timeline because she's apparently 13, but there's Cranky Kong, but Cranky Kong is supposed to be the original Donkey Kong who kidnapped Pauline. How does Mount Mario fit into all this? Why is Diddy and Dixie there? There's a lot of questions we've just opened up here. You know,
Yeah,
they have some splaining to do. But yeah, I'm excited. I think it looks great.
nice. Yeah, Greg, what'd you think of this direct?
Well, I made sure to have my expectations very low after the Mario Kart one. That's for sure, because like that one was just like a rehash of the everything that we had basically heard with like 2 or 3 different tidbits. But I was always so I was always expecting they were going to kind of jump in like that, and that was about it. and be like, oh, maybe there's one or two other things like, oh, here's finally Diddy Kong that's been missing. But this thing just totally took that past like 11. Like this was awesome. Like the Barry was saying, the music was incredible. All the remixes they played throughout, all the brand new details with the transformations was really cool. I mean, even just having Pauline as a partner was very unexpected. I mean, because they were touting around that little rock friend, and turns out to be Pauline all this time. So like everything is really cool and beyond excited for, and even the amiibo functionality seems pretty cool to play around with a little bit as well. And I did end up pre-ordering the brand new one of that. But yeah, everything is really cool and definitely excited to check it out in just a few short weeks here. But as with Barry said, they kind of threw the Donkey Kong lore big hole to figure out how that connects it together. But it's not gets Legend of Zelda or anything, unless it's like the Fallen DK timeline or something. I don't know, but
Yeah, Hassan, you get some time with it. Anything stand out to you from the direct that, in addition to your time with the demo?
Yeah, I mean, I think the direct is really what convinced me to get the game. I think when I first seen it, I was like, "Oh, this looks interesting. I think I'll probably get it." And also, just as a new Switch 2 game, just to kind of enjoy. But I wasn't like hyped for it because my experience with other Donkey Kong games traditionally is they're fun, but it's not something that's always been like something I've been very excited for. It's kind of like a Kirby game or something like that. It's just very just oh cool, it's neat. But this one, after seeing the direct and just seeing like how there's so much stuff seemingly to kind of explore, there's a skill tree, there's collectible outfits. I mean, it definitely gave me very strong Mario Odyssey, vibes there. And then just to see, what they're potentially doing with the story with Pauline. I mean, some of that like had leaked before. I think there was some Korean website or something. I think that had like an image or something. So it was cool to like finally see what it was. But and then the game share co-op functionality as well. Because my wife got a Switch 2 as well, and I don't think she's going to get the game, but now she doesn't need it for us to do co-op together with game share. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. So after watching the direct, I ended up pre-ordering it on the eShop and pre-ordered the amiibo as well. So and then playing it at Best Buy just only further solidified, my excitement for it. So definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think like, yeah, the game, as I said earlier, I think on previous episodes, I've mentioned how I'm going back and forth. I'm like 50-50 if I'll get the game or not. But the direct and playing the demo has definitely pushed me further. I'm not 100% getting it, but I am getting closer and closer. And I think the only thing that really at this point is holding me back is, do I have the time to sink into this game? Because so much bigger than I think a typical like a Donkey Kong Country kind of game. And so like, man, I got to think through those things now. Like, okay, do I want to sink money into a $70 game that may just sit there for a while? So it has nothing to do with anything of the game itself. The game looks fantastic. It's just more of like, okay, do I have the time in my life now to sink into it? But that's only saying that only means really good things about this game. And I'm very pleasantly surprised with what we've seen so far. And you mentioned Super Mario Odyssey, Hassan. We do now have confirmed. Nintendo has officially confirmed it, I think, to Eurogamer and some other sites that the Super Mario Odyssey team was the team that worked on Donkey Kong Bonanza. And so a lot of people had speculated because it looks a lot like it. It plays very similar, kind of gives that similar vibe to it. But officially, they have now confirmed it was that team. Hassan, you excited about having that team on board?
Yeah, like I said, it seems like a fresh, new experience for Donkey Kong, and you can definitely tell with the collectible. I think the collectible outfits and stuff is, I think, what really like sealed the deal for me. I was like, okay, yep, this is just like Odyssey, and so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Greg, were you surprised to hear there was a Odyssey team on it?
not super like surprised. I mean, I followed like Kit and Krista, and I know they heavily like implied or like had strong reasons to believe that it was probably them, just based on the stuff that they've seen and everything. I mean, obviously it wasn't confirmed at that point, but I know they had like a few of their episodes where they were saying that it's very likely to be them. But I think it's great. I mean, I loved Odyssey. I did the full 999 moons completion, so I'm pretty much on board, and I really had a lot of fun with that game. I imagine it'll be pretty similar going through this one, and I didn't really have problems with the collectibles in Donkey Kong 64. Some other people did, so I understand it's gonna be a major collectathon with lots of different things to get, and I'm pretty much excited to hopefully. I don't know how much time I'll have with it, but I'm gonna certainly try to do my best to get everything I can.
Yeah. Barry, do you expect Mario Odyssey, or are you thinking this is what Retro is finally working on?
No, once I saw the thing around the Switch 2 reveal, like it screamed Mario Odyssey,
Yeah.
which I was both happy about and sad about at the same time. Like I was happy about because that's a very talented team. So I loved Odyssey, like Greg did the 999 and everything, and really like looking forward to their next game. I'm also a little sad because I was hoping the next game would be a new 3D Mario game, but at the same time, I really enjoyed DK64. Like Greg, I had no problem with the collectathon and getting everything. Granted, that was a time in high school when I didn't have a lot of money and I was getting a game, or a few games every couple months. So, having a game that was going to last me for a couple months, it was great. Nowadays, it's like if a game lasts me more than 2 weeks, I have to question, do I want to keep going because there's other games to play and other things to do. So I'm hoping. I mean, obviously, there's no character changes. That was the biggest thing with DK64 is that you would see a banana, but you would have to go back to a DK barrel to switch characters and then go back, and it was a lot of backtracking. But I know like there are mods that people made where you could switch characters on the spot, and that made it much better to collect everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how much there is to collect in this, but I think they have a good enough pedigree
Yeah.
with Odyssey, and if you enjoyed Odyssey, then I don't see why you wouldn't enjoy this.
Yeah, I think from my 15 minutes of the demo that I played, I think you'll have plenty to collect in this game. There was stuff everywhere. Now I don't know how much is required to quote unquote 100% the game, but there are definitely things everywhere to collect, and bust open and redo, and there's so much time I think you could spend with the game. Yeah, depending on how they actually programmed it. Is it something that you're required to do, or is it just going to be fun and you don't have to find every little gold piece or whatever? Which is also those gold pieces, those nuggets or whatever, is like your life in the game. So whenever you do die, you like lose some of those, but you're able to continue on. So that's kind of how they've done it so far. So you don't have many lives. It's kind of all, I mean, not exactly, but kind of like Sonic in that way, where you have to have, so many rings, but you have to have so many gold pieces that allows you to continue on. I never fully died, so I'm guessing if you eventually run out of gold and you die, you're gonna have to start from scratch or something. I'm not sure. Um, but yeah. Oh, Jakester says apples. Those are apples. They do not look like apples. They look like gold pieces. But yeah, bananas are throughout the whole thing. You're gonna be to collect the banandium gems, and there's puns galore. So if you like puns and bananas, you're gonna have a great time with this game as well. Any final thoughts about Donkey Kong Bonanza before we move on to all the other showcases that have been happening this summer? Final thoughts, anybody?
Nope.
Nope. All
Get ready
right.
for post credits to roll, or credits to roll. Post credit scene. Final boss. Mario pops up.
Oh,
There
Dun,
you
dun,
go.
dun.
And classic DK music plays.
there you go.
Classic DK
That would
music has to play at that
that would be
time.
Then,
fun.
and then immediately following, you see DK Jr. just pop out of nowhere.
Yeah, DK Jr. has to magically appear, and Stanley the Bugman has to appear. Let's bring it all full circle.
It is really interesting, like how all this is gonna work together, and And if they are going to create some sort of canon, or if Nintendo's just like, screw it, we don't care. We're just going to make a fun game, and these are the characters we're choosing to use, and that's it. But it would be really great if they somehow tie together.
Yeah, I've already seen a few theories of people trying to link it to both DK64 and even to Mario Odyssey. So I don't know. There's a lot of people out there with a lot more time to study that stuff than I do, for sure.
I have my one question before we move on. Do you think that when this launches, Mario Kart World will get an update with new costumes for Donkey Kong and Pauline, who only have one costume apiece, as well as maybe new playable characters like Diddy and Dixie and stuff like that as free DLC promotion?
I don't think it'll happen right at launch because they won't want to move the focus away from Donkey Kong, but in a couple months or something, maybe the next direct after or something. Yeah, I think so. Because it just seems weird that they don't have costumes, and that's like such an easy way to just add more content to the game, which they're going to do, just like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Hassan, but I wouldn't also be surprised if they were like, "Oh, here's a $20 upgrade pass, and you can get all these extra costumes for all these other
I
characters as
think
And we're
well."
all
people
gonna
would
buy it anyway.
people would riot if it's an $80 game after all that initial controversy, and then they charge more for costumes. I think if there's paid DLC, I think that'll be a while away. People will
Wait, you mean
riot
you
for
don't
that.
like horse armor?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I would pay it. Whatever they charge for it, it's Mario Kart. I would pay it. I'm just talking in general.
What would be
Yeah, I
really
think.
interesting though, like if they did decide to go like some sort of hybrid between, if you have the Donkey Kong save file, you get to unlock those
Yeah.
those costumes in Mario Kart. I could see that possibly happening. So it's kind
That's
of
smart.
like paid DLC, but you have to unlock it by getting the other game.
Other games have done that, so I don't see why not. And
Yeah.
then later,
Yeah.
maybe after a couple months, they put it on the eShop or something like that separate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess I was more going. It depends on what's in the pack. If it's just strictly costumes, there's no way it's gonna be. I wouldn't think it would be $20. But if there's like 4 new courses or something, or 8 new courses, and then the extra characters and costumes, and that's a little bit easier to swallow.
Yeah. Well, Kajimi in the chat is saying, "Me too. I would pay it," and I literally pay for Mario Kart Tour every month. So that Barry does as well, and so like clearly, like if it's
I've
good, it's
I've spent
quality, go for it.
a crazy amount in Fortnite that I don't even want to talk about. So yeah, I'm sure
There you
I
go.
would spend it.
But yeah, I could definitely see people upset. Maybe people are still upset that the game costs $80, and I feel really bad for our Canadian friends who are paying well over $100 for Mario Kart, and
And things
probably
are going up now for Canada. Nintendo of
mhm,
Canada just announced that there's going to be varying prices.
yay. So sorry, sorry, all of our Canadian friends. So let's move on to we just wanted to recap or kind of review some of the other summer showcases that have been going on. So as we've talked about the last couple years, we're still mourning the passing of E3, and that's no longer a thing. But back in the day, one of these, one of the greatest things about summer was the beginning of summer, and we had this E3 time where everybody came together and released all their stuff one week, and we had this. It was Christmas for gamers, and now we're there. It seems like a lot more companies are going with this direct style showcase, and they're bringing out their showcases. Sometimes they pack it all in the summer game fest, but then also there are some that are trickled out on the rest of the summer. And so on top of Summer Game Fest that we talked about a couple episodes ago, we also have several other showcases that have been happening recently. So in the last couple weeks, we've got the Konami Press Start conference that happened on June 12th. Capcom Spotlight was on June 26th. Too Many Games had their showcase, but also an award ceremony on June 27th. And then the Arc System Works showcase happened on June 26th as well. And then we have a couple more that are going to be coming up on July 2nd. which is tomorrow as of we're recording right now. That's the Bandai Namco showcase. And then on August 1st, we're having the THQ Nordic showcase as well. So if you have not checked out any of these, this is another plug for hopping over into our Discord. We have an events channel in our Discord. We try to link to all of those as much as possible, so you can go check out the live stream of them or the archive stream of those, and also join the conversation specifically on those different events. So head over to our Discord, check out the events channel, and you'll see links to all of those different events that are going on, and a place to watch it and have some conversations around it. But Barry, anything stand out to you from these ones that have happened from Konami, Capcom, Too Many Games, and Arc System Works?
I mean, for the ones that happened, the biggest thing was new Double Dragon. Like, I am really, really excited for new Double Dragon. It's great to see this as a series that has kind of died and then slowly came back. And Arc System Works is really like running with it and promoting it. A lot of the other stuff as a showcase wasn't exactly for me. Like, I'm not a big Metal Gear Solid fan, so like seeing more of Dream Eater doesn't matter. And I'm not a Yu-Gi-Oh fan. It's, Suikoden 1 and 2 is nice to see some more stuff come back. And they talked a little bit about the Switch 2. The Switch 2 updates. Gradius Origins was another one that's kind of cool. I'm kind of excited to see that. New Silent Hill was announced, but again, like, I'm not a survival horror guy, so I'm like, oh, that's like, I'm so happy for those people. I'm happy that Konami's even doing games again outside of pachinko machines.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to see, like, are we getting a new Bomberman? Are we getting a new, something else from them? New Contra, new Castlevania. But alas, we are not. And yeah, for me it was the Arc System Works. Like that had the biggest showcase for me. Just in terms of stuff. The new Guilty Gear I think was announced as well. So if you like classic fighting games, that's where to go.
Nice. Yeah. Double Dragon is great, and I'm looking forward to check that out more. I played a lot of it back in the day, but I've not played any of the new versions. So it's exciting to see that they're having new ones, but I don't know yet if it'll convince me or not. I still got to check out more. Hassan, were you able to check out any of these showcases, and if so, anything stand out to you?
No, so I guess no is the short of it. Much like the name of one of those showcases, there are just too many games.
It's very true. Greg, were you able to check out any of them?
No, I pretty much followed the same boat there as Hassan, but hearing stuff about Double Dragon does sound pretty interesting to me as a big fan of the NES version ones that are way back then in your olden days that you call it, Steve.
That's right. Jakester's making fun of us, making fun of me specifically. We're all basically the same age. So, but yeah, back in the day, I said that for him. And Jakester also said that he didn't know anything about Carmen Sandiego till we talked about it on one podcast.
Oh my gosh.
That's great. But yeah, I think that really brings me to what I was thinking as well, because I got a chance to like check out a little bit of some of these, but not fully watch them. And I just want to talk like not necessarily about the game specifically. And Barry covered some great games that I think that were shown off, and I do recommend you guys check these out. But where do we think we are in nowadays, like in comparison to where we were at E3? Because for me, like E3 was so cool because not only was it just great, but also because it all happened in 1 week. It was just crammed in 1 week. I knew that I was able to like shut my brain off from like everything else that I was doing. I took several days off work and I was just zeroed in, and I was like, I'm going to absorb everything I can. Sometimes we went, like Greg and I got to go to E3 and check it out. Like that was just, it was a moment that I was able to do. Like this stuff has trickled out over the summer. I'm busy doing other things and I can't always catch those events. And so because of that, it like I miss a lot of stuff. Not necessarily because I want to, but I just, other parts of life are happening. And granted, I am older now. And so like, adulting has to happen sometimes. But yeah, so Hassan, I'm interested to hear what you think about like where we were with E3 and now like with these showcases that are still great, but they're like trickled out over the whole summer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I personally I feel it's just not quite the same. I mean, I know from a the standpoint of each of those companies and how they deliver their news, they have more control over it, over the timelines, the content, all of that. So it makes more sense for them to do it. But from a consumer perspective, like I miss when it was like an event. I would watch some of these other conferences not because I even knew any of these games, but just because like everybody was watching it and there was hype around it. I miss the days of like even Nintendo getting on stage and like presenting things. Now I know the direct is, I don't foresee them ever going back at this point, and it's just become such a staple not only for them but for all these companies now. So there's some pros and cons to that, like how they can get the content out more frequently and so forth. But it just even the summer, because we would normally have, for example, even though there was no E3, we'd usually have like a big June Nintendo Direct or something. Now we had the Switch 2 launch at that time, but are we going to get a direct in the summer, later in the summer or what? Now they have this Nintendo Today app as well, where they're releasing little tidbits, but you can't screenshot it or save it anymore. So it's like, it just doesn't feel the same, that same level of excitement to get all the news at the same time. So I get it, but I miss the old days.
Yeah. Yeah. Greg,
But
you
some
missed
like
the
to
days
watch
we
Cammy Dunaway get on a balance board with Shaun White on stage.
You know what? I actually do. I would go back to those days because
I
it was
would too.
entertaining. It was
I
fun.
would too.
Greg, you missed the Wii U music days where you get to see, that sort of
Yeah,
thing,
and the
or
yeah, and the fireworks and other
yeah,
stuff that they did.
yeah, we play stuff. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, Greg, what do you think of this? I mean, like, I know we've talked about how it'd be great to go back to E3 at some point, but do you think we've been able to kind of capture the same thing, or are we are we all in the same boat where we're missing those E3 days?
Yeah, I'm still kind of missing those kind of days where like the stuff was a little bit more like streamlined. So it's like, oh, Capcom has their thing at like 1 o'clock, and then like Konami has their thing at like 2 o'clock. So then it's like you can kind of set aside to like watch them like in a row. And here I understand like each company wants to have their focus on their presentation and their own hype, and then so then that's why it's a week or two in between. So then you can digest what you just saw in the previous one, and then there'll be other times like that. I mean, I get it from a scheduling standpoint, but as like you said, Steve, it's like a lot to keep track of, and there's different days, and then there's obviously the other things that go on in your life, and then so then you might end up missing like a number of the live streams just to the sheer amount of things that you're trying to watch, and they're all at different days and different times, so it's a lot harder to track all of that.
Hmm.
So, I mean, that's the main thing I missed about E3 is just it was a lot more concise, and you could know like exactly what time to show up for the presentation, and you can make the whole day of it, and you're not like doing like an hour this day and an hour 2 weeks later. Like it's a lot to take in too.
Hmm. Yeah, gaming dad in the chat saying he just ignores them. He used to read all the E3 announcements a lot, and since it was compressed, and also tired of everything needing its own app. And Jakester's agreeing. I think we all agree as well. Yeah, everything has its own thing. Like it's a lot to keep up with. Barry, what do you think about all this stuff?
I miss the days of ordering a pizza, sitting in, and getting ready to watch the whatever presentation was first, and planning my day around it. And we used to do the daily recap videos, which was a lot of fun because it was just so much happening. And I think like Hassan said it best, where he watched stuff he didn't care about because it was the hype everyone else was. Like I watched so many Rainbow Six and Division
Yeah.
presentations that I have zero care about from Ubisoft just because it was the Ubisoft's presentation time at E3, and that's where I have to be. And I think E3 was always two parts, right? So E3 was the showcases, which was not only for the people there, but it was mainly for the people who weren't there got to experience it. And then there was a show floor, which was all about the people in LA. And those of us that weren't in LA, the show floor was a nothing burger outside of the treehouse when they would do the treehouse, which was an event in itself, a 3-day event. And I there was it was what 2021 when E3 was all digital, and they just did this presentation, and they had that. And I know it was a failure, but I prefer that versus what we have now.
Mm.
Um, just because, like you said, it was all concise. There's a schedule. Here it is. We're all doing it, and now everyone. Now there's pros and cons to it, right? So the pro, as the consumer, is you can plan around it. You can kind of be a part of that, and you end one showcase and you go to the next showcase, and it's an event. It's like going to a convention, and there's different panels you want to see during the day, and you make that part of your day. It's the experience, and that was where it was really cool. But on the negative, it put a deadline on all the developers. We need to have this done by this date so we can show it off. And sometimes that led things to be rushed, or just not shown off right, or just not shown off at all, and they missed the boat. Where now you're seeing here's something, like the Bandai Namco's tomorrow, but then you got another showcase in the beginning of August, and then you had a showcase last week. So now they're able to do it whenever they're ready and they feel they have enough to present. So I kind of like that too. And I like that everybody is doing it, because if you watch D3, originally it was the big three, and then there were the big third parties. So EA put out, Konami put out, Ubisoft, Activision. They had their showcases. And then you watch like Konami stopped, and a couple others stopped. And then it became just Ubisoft and EA and Activision's third party. Then Bethesda came on. But then Bethesda got bought by Xbox. So then that became part of Xbox. Like, you started to see it get wind down and there less and less showcases. But we also get these newer showcases like the Wholesome Direct, where indies can get there. You get the Triple I initiative. You have Too Many Games, which is a great convention put on by great people that I had a lot of fun whenever I get to go, doing their own thing and putting on their own presentation now, because there's so many games that warrants it. So I do wish going forward we took Jeff's idea with Summer Game Fest, and it could even be Summer Game Fest. How, when we talked Summer Game Fest, we talked about all those presentations. Put everything there. Put everything there and put in a schedule. Make it a full day. And then if there's something you don't care about, you don't have to watch it, of course. You can come back. The nice thing is that everything is recorded. So if you miss these presentations, like Greg and Hassan said they did, they can go back. They could say, well, let me watch it, and you can skim. And I think with everything happening now, so many people are just choosing to do that and just skip what they don't care about, or they're waiting for like Too Tired Dad, gaming dad said, where they just wait for the news to pop out. And IGN post, here's everything that was announced, and then they just read the article and skim through it. And they're good with that. They don't have time to sit around for an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever the presentation is. Let me just get the highlights and move on with my day.
Yeah.
So it's a double-edged sword. Personally, I miss that because I think if you lived through that time as a gamer, it was special. Do I think my kid is going to want that? Probably not, because he didn't experience the magic. Do
Yeah.
I think Hassan's kid's going to want that? Probably not, because they missed the magic. It was a special time. It was like you mentioned, it's like gamer Christmas. But now it's just Jeff Keighley, giving out awards and saying world premiere a bunch of times.
It's true. Well, I think the thing that also, like, unfortunately, some of these other game companies miss is the attention, because something like E3 drew the attention to those games. Now you have to know what Arc System Works is to go and subscribe to their channel, turn on the notifications, and make sure that you're paying attention to them the next time they do their showcase. Same thing with Too Many Games. Same thing with even Konami and Capcom. Like, you have to be a fan of them and follow their thing in order to get it. Where before, it was just a part of that bigger showcase, and you saw it because you were paying attention to E3. And so I'm right with you, Barry. Like, if we can get as many of those, is Summer Game Fest taking the place of E3? Then let's actually do that. Let's get as many as we can as a part of that. and spotlight some of these other companies that some people wouldn't have paid attention to unless it was a part of something bigger.
To be fair, Jeff probably did reach out. I don't see why he
Right.
wouldn't reach out to Capcom and Konami and all that. They'd be a part of it, and they probably said we're not ready at this time.
Yeah.
So that's why they're, like I said, they have to show off. They have to have something to show off. And if they don't feel that way, that's when like Sony skipped E3 the first time. No, we don't have anything to show off.
Yeah.
And like you're talking about directs, I don't think we're getting a direct this summer. In fact, I wouldn't expect maybe September or October for the next direct because Nintendo doesn't need a direct. What do they have to show off? They got the Switch 2 last month. Now we got DK this month. They're coasting on that. They're fine with that. And they've got other games coming out too. And we already know, some of the games the rest of this year. Pokemon we know.
They actually do already have a direct schedule. They have Pokemon Presents on July 22nd.
Yeah, we got that
I,
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, meanwhile, Nintendo is definitely trying to figure out what to do with this whole game card or virtual game card situation as well. So, we didn't put this in the rundown, but supposedly Nintendo is working on that the game card situation where a lot of people are upset and sales are actually down, especially on third party games because the consumers have spoken. Like, we don't want these game cards that don't have anything on there except for triggering your digital game. Like, people do not want that, and now we're actually seeing these key cards not be sold in the stores. And so maybe Nintendo is spending their time, instead of doing a direct, they're going to figure that out. At least they've acknowledged the fact that there's some issues going on. We'll see what they're actually doing,
It's easy
but
to figure out. Just put some
yeah,
smaller cards in.
yeah,
And
and
and you
stop
know what?
charging so much.
A bigger card too, like
Yeah.
if possible. Because again, even if they put smaller cards, which I really hope they do, so more games are actually complete on card. Other games, like we mentioned last time, Split Fiction can't be. Is a digital code. It's a code in box because it's more than 64 gigabytes. So
Hmm.
the game card can't even hold it.
Yep.
So there's, an unfortunate thing. So hopefully they go to 100. There's a 100 level. And
Yeah.
then hopefully companies that need it actually use it.
Yeah. And then drop the cost as well. Hassan, you
Oh, yeah,
haven't
that'd be
been
great.
on to talk about the game key cards. I know you're mostly a digital game fan, but what do you think about the game key card situation?
And maybe this is a bit of an unpopular opinion, but I don't see as much of an issue in the sense that I think they're replacing what, in the last generation, what they had of the codes in the box. So it's very similar. It's just now allows you to be able to potentially resell or that sort of thing, because you
Get
still
back in
have
the
games that
basement,
are.
Hassan.
Oh, I knew it would be very unpopular with Barry for sure. Um, but I mean, I get there is obviously some valid criticisms in terms of like having additional options for developers and game cartridge sizes and things like that. But conceptually, I think initially when they were announced, there was like a big fuss of like every game's going to be a game key card. I don't think that that's necessarily the case. I think it's it'll obviously come down to the developers to see sort of what they can do, but um, I don't know. I guess
Hassan, do
for
you
me
see the
personally,
number
it
I'm
doesn't really
holding
make a
up?
difference. But
Do you see the number I'm holding up? 6. That's how many complete on card games are out there right now for the Switch 2. 6. And that's counting one from Japan, which is Tamagotchi Connection, which didn't even get over here. 6. That's
yeah,
terrible.
but how
It's
many
not
games are out there right now anyway? It's on Switch too.
like 20 something, 25 or so.
Yeah.
20 or maybe
Yeah,
30 at this point. It's not replacing code in the box. That's not it.
Those still
Code in,
exist.
if code in the box still exists, like Split Fiction and Civilization 7 are both code in box games. Um, it's not if it was just replacing code in the box, that would be one thing. People wouldn't care, I don't think, at that point. The problem is by Nintendo saying there's only going to be game key cards and 64 gigabyte cards and charge a stupid amount of money for them, we get smaller games like Bravely Default at 11 gig being a game key card. When if that was on the Switch 1, it would actually be a card. They would have been able to put the money to put the bigger card and have it complete. It wouldn't have been a code and box. So it's not saying, well, this is just replacing code and box. This is taking games that would have been complete on card and turning them into a code and box alternate. Because I guarantee you, if there was a 2, 4, 8, 16, 32 gigabyte cards as options, especially with the way sales have been, you will see a lot of these games re-released. You will see a lot of them just go, we are going to fix this. Some games like Street Fighter 6 is even worse because it's a game key card, but the game key is only for the base game. The DLC that is part of the advertisements, because the game is called like Street Fighter 6 Years 1 and 2, that's a DLC code. So if you buy that game key card pre-owned and they use the codes, you're only getting the base game. You're not even getting the full game that's advertised.
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
mean,
For me, it's always like the way that games are nowadays. There's always constant patches and updates, so it's difficult to have a game that truly ultimately ends up being all on a cart at some point, anyways. So that's part of the reason why I just went all digital,
Yeah.
anyways. But
Yeah.
I have a
I get
spreadsheet
it. I
to
get,
share with
you know,
you. Because there were a lot of revisions and people have figured out which cards
yeah,
are there.
Yeah.
Nintendo especially is very big on reprinting.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, and that's the thing. Like they need these different sizes because Jakester's pointing out in the chat that Donkey Kong it's 8.6 gigabytes. So they don't even need to fill these giant cards that they're putting out.
No,
Put these smaller cards out. Even Nintendo themselves can use the smaller ones. There's no need to put
of course.
Donkey Kong on a 64 gigabyte card when it's only 9 gigabytes. Like
They
there's
could
no
use
point in
the
that.
16 gig and save money.
Yeah. And so yeah, I think they need to offer smaller cards and stop charging as much money as they are for those cards for sure. And maybe things will change as it goes. Maybe they're actually going to pay attention to this. Maybe as they continue to bring more games to the Switch 2, we'll see some changes over time. Um, Hassan, I'm with you. Like I mostly am digital games anymore, so it doesn't bother me directly. I'm like, I'll get the some of the Nintendo published games that I want to have, that I know that I'll want to have on an actual physical cartridge of. The rest of them, I'll buy digital. So if it's a game key card, it doesn't directly impact me. But I totally see why other people are upset about this for sure.
Well, two things. One, you have to remember this with the Switch. Memory is very, very
Hmm.
limited with the Switch 2.
Totally.
And Switch cards and Switch 2 cards don't install. So if it's complete on cartridge, like you buy DK physical and you pop it in the Switch 2, it will play off the Switch 2. So that 8.6 gigabytes will not be taken up by your
Yep.
system memory.
Totally.
And that is a big deal, especially as games are bigger and bigger and bigger. Like Cyberpunk is a bigger game, you save a lot of space. That's one. Two, Nintendo also needs to put out, and hopefully after this they do, put out some kind of policy where the devs need to either put it complete on cart, whatever size is needed, or then do a game key card. And I don't think they're going to want to do game key cards because what we saw during the Switch era, we saw 2K putting out like the BioShock collection, and it had that little white bar that said download is required, because they used the 2 gig card, which is the smallest card that they can get away with, filled it, and then the rest of it had to be downloaded. It was the cheapest way to do it, and a lot of people gave them slack, gave them flack for it. Then
Yeah.
you have companies that did like Doom. When Doom 2016 came to Switch, the entire single player is actually on the cartridge. The only download is the multiplayer. And that was the way they could get around it because I think they used the biggest card at the time, which a lot of people were fine with because if the servers are down, you don't need multiplayer anyways.
Hmm.
So I think if they were to implement some kind of policy where if your game can fit completely on a cartridge, either do that or a game key. I think we're going to see a lot more complete on cartridge because the way game keys are selling, that's like death at
Yeah.
this point.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's where this issue is just a combination of what both of you guys have, both Barry and Huston have been outlining. I think the issue primarily Nintendo is trying to solve is like, hey, well, companies are not buying the 16 gigabyte card. Why am I going to make the 16 gigabyte card? They're just going to buy the 2 gigabyte card and just have you download the thing. So then that's where this key card thing was kind of born from, at least my impression, like interpretation from this. But then obviously having options makes more things able to be complete on card, and so that's where it's the catch 22. It's like, do you try to have all these options available, but then no one buys the options, and then you're producing cards and they're not selling. But I
Right.
mean, obviously, some publishers are using the proper cards, and like you said, Doom was a good example of that. But I think the key card thing was just trying to simplify things so they don't have to make 18 different size cards because like 17 of them weren't really being utilized. I mean,
But they're still making them for the Switch. So the cartridges are still being made because the Switch isn't dead. So and
Yeah.
and we already know that Switch 2 cartridges, for example, like Rune Factory, if you buy Rune
Hmm.
Factory, which is one of the 6 complete Nintendo Switch 2 cartridges, if you put that Switch 2 cartridge in your Switch 1, it will boot up Rune Factory, the Switch 1 version of it. It will play
Yep.
just fine. So they're already making these cartridges. There's no reason why they would,
Yeah.
don't continue making Switch 2 versions of those smaller sizes.
Well, it'd be interesting to see how it plays out, because I think initially, like all these publishers are like, well, we'll get this and we'll do the game key card and we'll save some money and we'll make it in the long run. But then now they're not saving money, like because the games aren't selling, and so like now is it better for them to spend the extra money and put it if they can, some of them can't fit, but if they can fit their game on a game card. Like, is it better to spend that extra money and actually have their game sell, or is it going to be better to like, okay, we're not going to make as much money,
Yeah.
but we're also spending less money.
I
and that's
also,
where you
and
get
again,
the
I'm going to throw out unpopular opinions here. I also honestly don't really know how much this truly is impacting sales of games because of a game key card. Like if people want a game, it's available on other, platforms in some cases, or you can get it digital or whatever it is. I mean, I think there is some audience that obviously wants it physical, but honestly, I think that the big thing is when you release a game like a Mario Kart at launch, that's a game that everybody's going to buy, and when it's already a, high price system plus Mario Kart at $80, maybe accessories, in the first few weeks after launch, it's going to be a tough sell regardless of whatever other company you are to compete against a Mario Kart. I think the
You
real
know what?
test will be in a few months to truly see, what some of the sales look like, but it's tough regardless.
I agree with you, Hassan, except for the fact that Cyberpunk is outselling every other third-party game by miles because people are supporting the physical that is truly physical, and they are speaking with their wallets, and it is noticeable. Like it is selling like stores can't keep it in stock. And when stores are sitting there with tons of game key cards and they can't keep this one in stock, and they're constantly ordering more because people are supporting it, they should also be supporting Rune Factory, but I think Cyberpunk just became the poster child of it all. Then then the stores are not going to order, and the stores are going to say, why is this on, why do we even buy these? They're sitting on my shelf. So the third
Yeah,
parties, some of them may not care, because if a store, like if Walmart says I want to order 5,000 copies, Walmart paid. So if it was to Capcom for Street Fighter, for example, Capcom has the money, they don't care. Walmart's now out. They'll feel it when they put their next game out and Walmart says, well, we're not going to buy 5,000 copies, maybe we'll only buy 1,000 copies just to trickle them out. And then suddenly Capcom's like, wait, that's 20% only of what you ordered last time. Then they'll start feeling it, because they only feel games if they're selling digitally. They'll know that. Physical sales, they don't pay as much attention to. They look at the order, not the sold. So
Mm.
the big box retailers and Amazon and stuff, like, they will absolutely be the determining factor.
Yeah. Greg, what were you going to say?
the other thing with this game key card test thing is that it almost might lead to another Wii U type situation because it's like
Mm.
the Rayman Legends was like push back and push back and push back, and then the console sales were bad, and then let's not even like other third party sales were not very good, like Assassin's Creed 3 and like other stuff that came out at the launch time. So that's obviously going to give some bad taste when they're are up against Mario Kart this time around. As Hassan said, it's pretty hard to sell just to begin with Mario Kart being the lead game from Nintendo this time around.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Mario Kart doesn't have, and we all talked about this in our game chat. It doesn't have the staying power, in terms of single player stuff, that a lot of people want, and that's where they're moving on. And obviously, DK is going to fill that void. But people are looking for other experiences that they want on the Switch. They just got a shiny new console. Let me play it. And you know, there's a lot of great single player stuff out there, but it's first off, a lot of it is from other systems, so people have probably already played it. But people are also choosing to purchase like the PlayStation 5 or even the Switch 1 version of some of these games over the Switch 2 version because it's complete on card or disc
Well, the good
and
news
cheaper.
is, I found something for you, Greg, and other people. When I was at Walmart, there's a 512 gigabyte card that they are terabyte. No, 512 gigabyte card that they have there
Yeah.
for $65. So if you're okay with using an ONN brand micro SD Express card, it's considerably cheaper at Walmart if you can find one. So 512 for $65 is a steal compared to some of the other prices out there. So if you need to download a lot of games, you're gonna at least be able to
I
spend less money if you're okay
I
with
think
buying a Walmart brand.
people are gonna feel that crunch. I mean, you already do, Steve, because you didn't even have a
hmm
card and you're already
No,
filled up.
yeah, I
Um,
bought a 256 because I was running out of space already, and
yeah,
that was
people
the
are
only card at
going to
that
feel
time that
that.
I could even get my hands on.
You know when games like Elden Ring come out, like I'm sorry, like that's just gonna eat up your space. And Madden and like Call of Duty and like the bigger games, we're talking 100 something gigabyte games. I mean, Tekken 8, I keep bringing up, was shocked the piss out of me. It was 115 gig on PS5 for a fighting game. Like that's insane. That's almost half of the Switch 2 internal. So I think when people start filling up really quickly, that's the advantage Switch has with the cartridge and Switch 2.
hmm
Being able to play and not take up that space and be able to play instantly, not have to wait for an hour install or whatever. That's huge.
Yeah,
And I think we're gonna almost see a bounce back anti-digital because of this, and I think we're already starting to see it.
yeah. Well, let's move on to our final segment, and that's the games going to be coming out over the next. Usually, we do a couple weeks, but I decided to go a little further into the rest of July because our next episode is going to be in August because we are taking that short 1 month break. So let's look as usual. Compliments of Metacritic. I'll be scrolling these on the screen. I'll highlight some of the games that kind of stood out a little bit as we scroll on the screen. But then we'll talk about what we're going to be playing over the next couple weeks. Some of those games that maybe we want to pay attention to was July 3rd is Harvest Moon: The Lost Valley and Skytree Village. And then on July 11th, we're getting Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4. On July 17th is Donkey Kong Bonanza on Nintendo Switch 2. And then July 23rd is WWE 2K25. They made a big announcement and showed off the front cover and everything today and had some new trailers. July 24th, the next day, Boulder Dash 40th anniversary, which we actually have we did an interview. If you haven't checked out NintendoFuse.com, you can check out Barry's interview that he had with Barry. Was it the developer, publisher? Who was that?
It was the original creator of Boulder Dash and who's working with the 40th anniversary.
Cool. Cool. So you definitely check out that interview and then check out the game, the 40th anniversary on July 24th. And then on July 31st, end of the month, we got Ease X Proud Nordics, which is a huge game for Barry. Barry loves the Ease series as
He's
well.
10.
So oh,
It's
I
10.
said X, didn't I? My bad. I knew it. Ease 10, Proud Nordics. So, Barry, what are you going to be playing over the next month before we come back on our next episode?
You missed Atomic Owl. That one's there, and Shadow
Oh,
Labyrinth. You missed. Shadow Labyrinth comes out
oh
the day
yeah,
after
that's true.
Bonanza. But
This is what
yeah,
I
I
get for
mean,
making that list like 5 minutes before we go live.
there you go. I'm mainly gonna be working some more in Yakuza and Lost Random for uh for the game chats that we're gonna be doing, and I really need to do Rune Factory, and my goal is to have Rune Factory done uh before Donkey Kong, and then of course Shadow Labyrinth is right there as well as Boulder Dash. E's 10. Proud Nordics, I'm gonna be getting just to support it, but I'm not gonna play it because it's Ys 10. I've already played Ys 10, and it's fantastic. And if you haven't played Ys 10, play this one. They've updated some stuff, but man, that's a great game. If you love Zelda and you haven't played any of the Ys, you're doing yourself a disservice. And then of course I'm working, so have another game to do. Work on that. So I'm playing another game for the ESRB that I can't talk about. But that's keeping me busy too. So between game chat games and work games, I'm trying to fit in a little time for the games you really want to play, which right now is mainly Rune Factory, and that's still not even touching like the Altair game and that came out earlier this year. I still haven't even touched that, and Fantasy Life I haven't even got the chance to touch that yet either because it's no time.
What about
Nice.
Xenoblade X?
I beat Xenoblade X.
Oh,
100%. Well, almost 100%. I didn't do the last quest. It was like level 100 because I just didn't feel like grinding.
Nice.
Oh, Xenoblade X is fantastic. Absolutely. Play the game. If you haven't,
yeah.
play the game.
I
I'll
was
probably
trying to remember if you actually had finished that one or not, or if that was just one of your weekend vendors where you did the whole thing.
Oh no, I put like 150 hours into that game. Like, nah, I played that. That's an event game. Like everything else goes away except for work. I have to work.
Yeah. Greg, how about you? What are you gonna be playing over the next month or so?
I'm hoping to get both of the 3 game chat games in at least the first half of the month, so then the latter half of the month I can do DK Bonanza, and then probably
Nice.
have some Mario Kart here and there if I have other people over, and or just do some fun races and stuff, and find some more of the random costumes I can't seem to unlock because it just keeps giving me the ones I already have.
Nice. Hassan, how about you?
Yeah, beyond continuing Mario Kart World and obviously Donkey Kong Bonanza coming up, more Fortnite, all of that. I did see towards the end of the month there's the Switch 2 update for the Super Mario Jamboree. My wife has the game. I don't know if we've actually even played it. She got it like, recently, but now with the Switch 2 upgrade coming up, we might, get the upgrade and kind of try some of the new modes and things, and so that'll be fun.
It's a
Nice.
great game. I liked it. That's something else I'll play. I forgot it's coming out.
That's cool. Yeah, I need to. I'll be over the next week. I can't take my Switch 2 with me, so I won't be as I'm traveling. But the rest of the month, I'll be traveling a lot, and I'll have it with me. So I'll be playing a lot of handheld. So yeah, hoping to get some time with Lost in Random, Yakuza, Split Fiction, all those games as well. I did go ahead and download the Switch 2 updates for both of the Zelda games as well. So I'm looking forward to checking those out and just to see what they look like. I don't know if I'll spend a whole lot of time with them, but I would love to see them in 4K and 120 frames per second and just kind of compare to what I was used to. I've heard that they look absolutely beautiful, but I'd love to be able to see those for myself. And yeah, I'll probably be going through some other games that here and there if I finish the rest of those enough to talk about them on game chats and stuff like that. But yeah, lots to play for sure. Going to the chat real quick. It's Gamer Dad says I've been playing PC. I have PC and Switch OLED, but many of the games that are coming to Switch 2 are games that I've never been interested in. So not a whole lot that he's looking forward to. Shakester says probably going to try to get through more digital game backlogs and prepare for Donkey Kong Bonanza while doing Xenoblade X and something else I haven't decided yet. And Gaming Dad also says that even back when I played games all the time, I played the same stuff I do now. Okay, not true. I played long games back then. I feel you, Gaming Dad. And I hope to get all major projects done in the next 2 months so that maybe come fall or winter, I can play a game again. Yeah, I definitely feel you. I think we're all feeling that. And then Kajimi says, definitely looking forward to Donkey Kong and Mario Party. Also playing Yakuza and Street Fighter right now. Nice. Yeah.
Nice.
I would like to play Street Fighter. Street Fighter is one of those that I'm kind of bummed the whole game key card because that is probably one of them that I would have gotten on cartridge because I don't know if I want to keep it or not. So it may have been one that I want to keep or play for a while and then trade in. And like I know I can do that, but like it just feels it. I don't know. I don't want to support what's going on. So
Yeah.
that's why I haven't done it.
Street Fighter 6 is absolutely fantastic because it has the full RPG mode, which is
Yeah.
amazing and blew me away and just a ton of fun. On top of the arcade, on top of the, online, and there's just a lot of content in that game, and I haven't
Yeah.
played any of the DLC stuff. Like, it
So
is well
is
worth
the
playing.
whole years thing, is that have to do with the single player then?
No, I think that's just DLC, like the season pass with
Oh,
characters.
okay.
It's because Street Fighter 6 is 2 years old. So year
Yeah.
1 would be the first year DLC, and year 2 is the year 2 DLC. So
Oh,
it's just
okay.
added characters. But the single player it's complete. Like the full story from beginning to end. And what's cool is you get to play your own character, you get to create your character, but then you get to learn from the Street Fighter characters and choose your style. And then you can mix and match. So you could have like some of Ryu's moves with some of Chun-Li's moves, with some of Blanca's moves, and work with them. And
Hmm.
it's just really cool story. And then there's a bunch of like random people that you could challenge and fight. And there's also like different missions and stuff. Like it's a full-fledged 3D RPG that really surprised me.
Hmm. That's cool. Yeah, I was confused by the whole year 1, year 2 thing because I was like, what I don't even understand that. And I'm thinking I'm probably not the only one. If you're a diehard Street Fighter 6 or fan, I'm sure you like that totally makes sense. But to me, I'm like, what are there two different games here or what am I getting? And the
No,
fact that it's
it's just
labeled like
DLC.
that just for DLC is kind of weird. So,
It's just DLC. And even like the PS5, like if you get that, all you're getting is the exact same PS5 launch disc. Like they didn't even update it with a download voucher. So Capcom was beyond cheap with it on all systems, but it just especially burns on Switch too, because if you buy it secondhand and you wanted those extra characters, you're probably going to have to pay up for them because they are not included in the
mm,
purchase. When if you buy it new, at least you get the codes to get them.
sure. Sure. Well, like we said, we're going to be back in August. So I don't know even what that date is off the top of my head. Any of you guys know what that date's going to be? It's like, I don't know. We'll be back in August. Stay tuned to our social media, our Discord, all that stuff. Maybe Barry or Greg will figure it
I think
out.
it's the 12th.
The 12th, August 12th. So we've got basically just over a month. And so if you're missing us, in the meantime, which some of you guys might be missing us, you can go check out the backlogs of our initial episodes. Go back to episode 1, episode 2. You can have more Hassan in those first several years as well. So
And
go
no
back there.
me.
And no Barry, no Greg
You
in the
could
beginning as
you you
well.
you you
So
could you could rid yourself and have a better experience.
but around what was it, episode 90 or something like that, 90 something is when all of us came together, this group of 4 that you're seeing right now. So if you want to check out back in the day, in the meantime. But Jakester said this as well. Hudson, it's always great to have you around for the podcast. Anything else going on in your life or the next upcoming in the you're unless you want to come back in August, I can say the next month, but just in general in the future, anything big going on in your life?
Not particularly, just family, work. I mean, the usual, just keeping me busy, as always. But I'm always, on social media, Hassan with 120. So say hi. I'm around. I will pop into the chat sometimes, and always fun hanging out and chatting Nintendo.
Yeah. Be sure to follow Hassan as well on YouTube and all your other. Are you still pretty active like on TikTok and stuff too, or is that
Occasionally, when
occasionally?
I can, not
Yeah.
not very. I wouldn't call it active at this point,
Okay.
but occasionally.
Okay. Still follow him anyway. So when he does occasionally post, you can check it out. Greg, anything big
Steve,
going on? Oh, what's that? What?
I was just gonna say I quickly looked up Street Fighter 6's
Oh.
file size. Not counting the DLC, it's 48.3 gig. So that's a big chunk, and that's not counting year 1 and 2 DLC.
What is that like? Doing quick math of four almost 4 times as much as Donkey Kong
Yeah,
Bananza.
and that still doesn't count the DLC characters.
Wow, that's crazy. But also Nintendo knows how to compress files really
Yep.
well.
But it could
Greg,
fit on the cartridge.
that's true. Greg, anything going on in your life the next month?
Yeah, so my brother will be getting married in Las Vegas at the end of July, so I'll be heading out there for help them celebrate and everything. So be
Cool.
kind of be out towards Steve's area somewhat a little bit, but
Nice.
a little bit further west still.
Flying over
But
me again.
yeah, so I'll be there for like a short weekend. But other than that, it will be mostly just a kind of hanging out kind of month and continue through work and games, family, and everything else.
Nice, nice. Barry, what's going to be going on in your world over the next month?
Finally getting a little bit of quiet time now that my in-laws are gone. We were very busy. We went to like the Bronx Zoo, went to City Field to watch a baseball game, and we had, street fair was around. We had my son's birthday, a big birthday party to put on, and now it's kind of like okay, and I kind of relax a little bit and focus on work and focus on gaming and then focus on the little man when he's home from school and just try and get through, some stuff. That's it.
Mm.
Just the focus is try and relax. It's been way too hot for me to do anything outside. Like it just 100 degrees and just overheating and stuff. It's ridiculous over here.
Wow. Yeah, I've heard the rest of the country's having a heat wave. Meanwhile, in Colorado, we're only at a like 80 something, but
Oh
the
yeah,
rest of
we've
the
been
country's
burning
burning
up.
up.
I just saw news that the Eiffel Tower actually they had to close it because it's just too hot.
Wow,
And like that's crazy. So like
that is.
it's not just us, it's just the world is heating
It's
up.
the world. You guys should just come to Colorado. It's a little cooler over here. And we're
Yeah.
having, oddly enough, we're having afternoon storms almost every day. I don't know where those come from. We're in a desert and now we're having storms like every afternoon. So we're doing okay. Uh, the rest of the world, not so much, but we're doing okay. And speaking of Colorado, I'll be at Fan Expo Denver over the next few days. It's like July 3rd through the 6th, I think. Is that right? 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. So I won't be there I don't think I'm going to be there on the 3rd, but I'll be there the 4th through the 6th. So if you are in the Denver area and you're planning on coming to Fan Expo, make sure you look for me. I'll not be dressed up, so I'll just look like this. Uh, because the thought of wearing a costume all day long at a con is just that's way too overwhelming to me. I would just be burning up the whole time and get so tired of wearing it. But kudos to the people that actually do. I enjoy seeing your costumes. I would just never be able to do that.
When you're at Fan Expo, Steve, you need to go stop by. My good friends Serenity Forge are going to be there.
Oh, cool.
Zev Zero, who's usually in the chat here, he
Yeah,
won't be there, but Z, the head of Serenity Forge, is going to be there. Awesome, awesome dude. Check them out. They're fantastic games and fantastic people.
cool. Yeah, I'm excited that more and more over the last couple of years we've started to see more gaming stuff at Fan Expo. Because like the first couple of years was not so much at all. Like a couple board games and that was it. But we're starting to see a lot more gaming stuff there now.
Serenity Forge is actually based in Colorado, so that helps.
That's true. I forgot about that. Yeah, totally forgot until you just mentioned it. That makes sense. So nice. Well, cool. Well, thank you guys again for checking us out and tuning in live. If you've never joined us live, be sure to do that. Again, typically it's every other Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time. We go live on YouTube and Twitch, and loved you guys jumping in the live chat and joining our conversation the entire time. Hassan, it was great to have you back for this episode as well. And yeah, we'll see you guys hopefully in the Discord and on social media until August, but definitely back in August when we jump back on our regular schedule, and hopefully we'll see you guys in the live chat at that point. But until then, happy gaming, everybody.
Have a good one.
Bye.
See you next time.